Welcome to The Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history, album by album, and track by track. And we have reached the end of the Sparks' second album, A Woofer in Tweeler's Clothing from 1972, or at least the last two tracks on that album. And we have joined them together because the 10th track, Batteries Not Included, is a very short one, only 45 seconds. And that is followed by track number 11, Whippings and Apologies. So we'll start with Batteries Not Included. Have a listen to that, and then we'll discuss that one. And then we'll discuss Whippings and Apologies. And listen to it afterwards. So here we go with track number 10.
I brought it home and I opened it up, and the smile came to my face for the first time in a while. Yes, a smile came to my face for the first time in a while. I turned it on, but nothing happened when I did. Nothing happened at all. I kicked it down the stairs, I threw it at the wall. Hey, kid, batteries not included.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we've all felt this frustration.
Yeah. Well, it's
Finally, someone made a song about
Even back in 1972, that was an issue.
it. Yeah, who would have guessed that? I would not.
Probably even in the 50s, 60s, if it is about the Sparks Brothers' childhood.
could be. It was a great little thing.
Yes, lovely little piano ballad by Ron Mayall.
The title, well, the punchline is spoiled in the title.
Yeah, it is.
So you know when he starts singing the first parts of the lyric, or you know how it's going to end. Yeah.
So they should have chose a different title
Well, if they would have
to keep the mystery.
kept the surprise.
Yeah.
What would you have called it then?
Nothing happened at all.
Well,
Yeah.
but this is a bit speeded up, isn't it?
Slightly, but it's a few seconds longer. So percentage-wise, it's probably sped up quite a bit.
It's not so many seconds you can save.
No,
No.
45-second song. I think it is 3-4 seconds, but it's more noticeable on the next track. And as we said in the previous episode, the reason for it is that they were trying to squeeze both this album and the debut album on one CD. And because of the space issues, to get everything on it, they had to speed up the last 4 tracks on this album.
That's a very novelty way of solving that issue.
Could probably have been solved better, as we discussed. If they had sped up all the songs a little bit, then maybe it wouldn't have been noticeable.
Often they omit one song, or they fade out another song, or they just make a double CD. That would have been simplest.
At least they didn't omit this song, because maybe that's all they would have needed. But they kept it on.
They kept it on.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Maybe it's too short for it.
too much of a great song to remove it.
Yeah.
It is.
It has a kind of like almost like a musical flair to it. People joining in on the choir, and
Oh, yeah.
the way they sing "Hey Kid" with full choir.
Yeah, it's like a musical sketch again, like the Hey Bob song.
I also feel it's kind of like a song for those that are shopaholics, and a smile came to my face for the first time in a while.
Yeah,
That's probably how you feel like
yeah.
when you buy something new.
But this is most likely a kid, though.
Yeah, let's hope the kid is not a shopaholic yet.
But it probably applies to a lot of people. That's true.
Yeah, we feel like a kid when we get something new.
Mm. One thing I thought about this song musically in the beginning here, the very lovely piano beginning and the first line of it actually sounds like a Kate Bush song. Not a specific Kate Bush song, but
I know what you mean.
He could-
Yeah.
that could have been a Kate Bush
Mm.
song,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8 years later,
Mm. Absolutely.
which is very odd when you think about it. The band, they wanted to make a sort of radio TV commercial that could be used to promote the album. Since it is about a toy missing batteries, they wanted a kid's voice on it. I'm not sure if we can actually hear the kid's voice, but they have actually put the kid's voice on it. Because they needed that, Earl Mankey, the guitarist, he just went out on the street, came back in 5 minutes with an 8-year-old boy and his mom. And he apparently did the voices on this track, got some money for it, and was sent back out again. I don't think he's even mentioned by name.
Well, he has a story to tell now.
The two brothers, they commented on the song. Russell Miles said, really proud of this one.
Yeah.
Ron Miles said, a typical set of that final rave-up song, only shorter.
Yeah, that's to the point.
Mm.
Yeah. So maybe we'll head over to the rave-up song,
Yes, let's do.
Looking forward
Whippings
to
and
it.
Apologies.
It really is a rave up.
And that raises the question, as we have talked about before and discussed before we started recording, because the version is sped up by 20 seconds. It is quite noticeable, quicker. It's probably the version that most people that don't own the LP record know. Anyone who has it on CD or has it digitally on Spotify or iTunes or YouTube or anywhere else has this sped up version. So that's the one that is most familiar. And the version that me and Ron has heard most, Chris here hasn't heard it before. The question is, are we going to do the original not sped up version, which sounds maybe a little bit slow, or are we going to do the sped up version? Now we need to decide.
I mean, I'm as you say, I'm used to the sped up version, like so many others. But
what if we listen to the sped up version and then maybe have a quick clip of the other version afterwards?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I guess so. It's gonna feel really slow. I'm afraid that it will. But
Most likely will. And it's also interesting because it's sped up. I mean, Russell's vocals on this track is, I would say, maybe taken to the extreme in Russell's vocal landscape.
That's
and
promising.
with the sped up version of it, it becomes even more extreme. So yeah, we'll go ahead and listen to the sped up digital version of Whippings and Apologies. So written by Ron Mile, has been described as a metallic blitzkrieg recorded loudly without the bass guitar.
Okay, that's very promising.
So here we go. Yes, so that was it. The end of the album.
Yep. It was certainly sped up. And the vocals here, they are borderline chipmunk vocals.
It's borderline, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel a bit strange almost now to say that this is the version I'm used to, because when you're actually listening to it, it is taken to the extremes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the instruments as well, you can hear they are faster. And the opening, the first seconds, it almost sounds like an electronic, like Konrad Schnitzler or something. And
Yeah,
then-
it is a synthesizer. It's the first time Sparks uses a synthesizer.
it is, yeah, okay.
And it's
Yeah.
actually a
It's
very
not just
early.
because it's fast.
It's also a very early example of synthesizer in. There wasn't that many rock bands that had used it at this time.
No.
There were a couples, but
Prog bands mostly.
And Germans.
Yeah.
Well, the guitar or the after the synthesizer, when the first guitar, it reminded me of the Who, sort of way they, a couple of the Who songs start.
Yeah, I could see it has a bit of the flair of Pete Townsend.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of the debut album of Block Party, which kind of built their whole debut on this type of very fast rhythmic guitars. And it also, I love the guitars on this. I think it is
intricate and
very intricate and makes a really kind of disconcerting noise that almost sounds like the alarm you would hear when, like, if there was going to be a bombing or something.
or a bomb itself falling from the sky.
Falling, yeah.
it's the metallic Blitzkrieg or something you said.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That is true.
Or just wind howling, especially when it sort of goes up and down. Yeah, it's a great track, great ending.
Yeah.
It's a bit odd that there's no bass, or at least no bass guitar. The bass is on the low end on the keyboard, which Ron also said. He said, recorded loud and without bass. The bottom, if one exists, is the left hand of the keyboards. 2 chords always make the best chord progressions.
Well, in this case, it's all you need.
Yeah.
Russell said about the song, always misconstrued to be about some perverse going on, when in fact it was about spankings at home. Maybe that's why we were all received at Max's Kansas City in New York. Very well received at Max's Kansas City.
I don't know how to take that.
No, but the line about holy water, holy blood.
She has holy water running through her veins.
Yes.
And now it's me that she hates.
Yeah.
You know that it's not right.
Yeah.
Can we hear the original version?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we absolutely have to.
Maybe not the whole, but at least after the first complete vocal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool synthesizer beat. That's Pete Townsend.
It is noticeable.
It's noticeable, but I would have loved this version as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
actually.
even now, after we played 220 of it now, after a minute or so, you get quickly used to it.
Yeah, you do.
You didn't notice it anymore.
In the beginning, you wanted to go faster, but you get into it.
And you hear it in the vocals as well. They are a bit more chipmunk in the digital version, if we can call it that, sped-up version. But still, here, it is Russell's voice being very, very Russell.
On the limit.
Yeah.
I would say no one else than him sings like that. A very unique way of singing. And here it's taken to the extreme, as I said in the beginning.
Well, I never heard this song before today, and I actually enjoyed most the last version, the slower version, because it has the right beats when they put in the extra.
I guess if they still had the masters for this is the version that would be available digitally.
And how difficult is it to turn down the speed a little bit? I mean,
well, yeah, that is true. Yeah. It's an odd choice, in a way.
It's almost like they didn't know, but I mean, they must know.
They probably,
or maybe they prefer the sped-up version. That's also.
Yeah, maybe they originally wanted it to be super fast, and now they could have done it in the 70s as well. So it's probably even either that they want it this way or that they don't bother. Or maybe their record company decides and they have no power of it.
And reading the comments below here on the YouTube video of it, it is clear that people are split if they prefer this or the other version. And as the top commenter here says, Gentleman something, 2886. If any Sparks album needs a deluxe reissue, it is this one. Include both versions.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
They would have
then take my money.
they would have had room for it if they had two separate CDs for the first albums.
Yeah.
And I think I can hardly think of any other musicians that I would rather give my money than Ron and Russell.
Yeah, it's true.
would happily give it all.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites on the album, this track.
Yeah, either version, it's a good version. And, it's a good song in either versions. That's what I'm saying. Enjoyed it. And a great ending for an album.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love the stops each time the next verse begins. You think, is it over? And then it starts again.
Over and over again.
Whippings and Apologies, over and over again.
Yeah.
Brilliant ending. But all in all, it's a well-sequenced album.
So, let's discuss the whole album a little bit. This is the last track. It's 11 tracks, mostly very enjoyable tracks. But, and I listened to these two first albums a lot, but I think as a whole, I prefer the debut album a little bit. It's a little bit more interesting to me.
Okay.
But the best songs here are equal to the best songs from the debut album, I would say.
I listen more to this one than the debut album, but I'm not going to say that I actually like it better. But
it's a hard choice, though.
It's a hard choice.
They're similar in style. They're recorded with the same band, which is quite unique. Well, not that unique, but the next three albums were recorded by more or less the same band. A different band, but the same. So, yeah.
Well, I'm not. I don't feel qualified to judge one album better than the other. It's the first time I heard this one today, and it was as expected. It was not a big departure from the last album. It's more of the same diversity and diversity between songs and in a single song as well. Maybe I enjoyed side A more on the first listen than side B, but of course that's for first listen, and things can change when you listen to an album several times, which always is recommended. But yeah, there's many great songs on this album, and there's not a bad track.
Any particular that stood out to you?
Oh, Moon over Kentucky, or how we pronounce it. That was an immediate hit, and what's it called? Beaver
O'Lindy.
Beaver O'Lindy was a great song, and
Okay.
Many great songs. The last song, of course, is also a standout track, and the two comedy tracks, Batteries Not Included, Here Comes Bob. They're also flawless little things, but there's sort of in a different genre, different competition.
How about you, Tron?
No, it's very funny that you mentioned the 3 songs that I also would hold up as my favorites, even though you just did kind of one listen to it, and I never thought of it as being very immediate songs. But yes, it would be those 3. Whippings and Apologies, Moon over Kentucky, and Beaver O'Lindy.
I think I would swap Beaver O'Lindy for Girl from Germany. I like that more.
Yeah.
But my favorite on this album is Moon over Kentucky. It's been from the first time I heard the album. I love that track.
Yeah, I think I go a bit between that and Whippings and Apologies.
Yeah, I mean it's close behind. It for sure is. Yeah, those 2 are the best tracks on this album for me.
As we move forward to the next Sparks album, which we will do in a while, will that be a big departure?
I mean, you have heard This Talent Big Enough for the Both of Us.
I heard the song, yeah, not the album, but the song.
Would you say there's a difference?
It is a difference.
Yeah, maybe it feels like the production has landed more. And of course the brothers have moved on to another band, but it doesn't make things worse in any sense. It just makes it a little bit more different, and they feel like a more formed band on the next album, I would say.
They're moving into their glam rock period, you could say, on at least the next 2 albums. The last album was also recorded in London, actually produced by Tony Visconti. But that
he knows his stuff.
Then they are starting to deviate again. So the next 2 albums are sort of their glam rock period, you could possibly call it. They traveled to UK. They left their old band that we have now followed for 2 albums behind in America, and never played with them again. But when we in the brilliant documentary The Sparks Brothers by Edgar Wright, came a couple of years ago, they interview Harley Feinstein, the drummer here. I think it is him. And it seems like they accepted that it was like meant to be for them, and it didn't seem to be any bitterness from him, at least.
No, it just felt like the fact of life. He understood they were on a journey and they needed to move on to different postures.
And they sure did move on a lot in the different directions as they go through. So a lot of more albums to do, 20 at least plus albums. We'll see if we will be able to do them all.
We have many years ahead of us, so we also need a little bit of different music from time to time.
And what do you think about this whole album? Leave us a comment below. And also, if you have any comments about these last 2 tracks that we did. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. We've come to the end of this album. Another great Sparks album. As we said, we'll do at least another Sparks album in a couple of episodes from now. What the next episode will be, you will need to push that notification button and get a reminder when the next one drops so you don't miss it. I think that is only for us to say goodbye for this time. My name is Frode.
My name is Trond.
And my name is Chris.
You must all have a very nice day.
Goodbye.
Looking forward to seeing you back on our channel soon.